Thank you guys for tuning in to Alternative Jazz Venues today. My name is Melvin Johnson, and it is my pleasure to be with you for our segment today. I'm here just to share a bit of information on behalf of myself and the work that has been done. My name is Melvin Johnson. Once again, I am a Houstonian pianist, composer, arranger, everything that has to do with music. I love, and that's what I've been doing. And there's a recent debut album that I have out called Little Red Wagon. And this music is for you guys. It is live, it is available on all streaming platforms. Unless you have a really old computer and you can't get it, then you just give me a call or go to my website, www.melvinjohnsonmusic, as you see below, and we'll get you a CD. I'll get you an 8 track if I need to. This music is for everybody. So just really want you guys to enjoy this. And it's an awesome ability to be able to be on this platform and to share this time with you guys. So as you guys come into the room, we'll have conversations, we'll talk, and, just take a deeper dive, just to learn a little bit about myself. So to start off top, why or who am I? Let's get to that. And I'm a lover of music. I'm a lover of music. In Houston, growing up playing trumpet in church. In Houston, there's literally churches on every corner. So I was just at a local church, and I love music. It always made me feel a certain way. So I had this little plastic Fisher Price trumpet, and from there, I joined the orchestra that we had at our church, which is amazing because we don't have that anymore. But Old Baptist Church, I went from trumpet to playing on drums. First song, This Little Light of Mine. And after, doing that, I moved from drums because I saw that's what the cool guys was doing, and I ended up moving to piano or organ at the church. And you guys know how church is with organ. And then from there, just exploring different passions through music. And so it was actually a few years back, I considered myself to be a musician that would just play live. I was more so captivated by what music could do for people in the moment that would listen to it in the same room. And so I really found my passion there, and I felt like that was the height of things. I considered recording an album. I considered, making music, and I was like, nah, maybe that's not for me. I just want to stay live. And it wasn't until my sister, Moshe McCole Johnson, she, most beautiful voice I've ever heard. She made me highly critical of vocalists too. So, unfortunately, she, growing up, I mean, is to have a older sibling. You guys know how that is. It starts as a rivalry till you start depending on each other. And so with that dependency in music, she was like the successful one. She sang and had an angel's voice. I loved it. And so, she ended up passing, and not having her voice with me, which made me have the passion that I had towards music. It did something. And then, shortly after she passed, I ended up having my son. And so I was expressing to my wife that it did something to me that I couldn't share or have something physical to give to my son and let him know, hey, this is what she sounded like. And so that gave me a fire to not die silent. And so in that really pushed me to have the urge to create music and to face kind of I don't want to say fear, but maybe it was, to really face that voice or to face that side of myself that I've never met, and to sit down and to create. And so from that, that was a motivation for me to start Little Red Wagon. And the reason why I called my album, or the reason why I call my album Little Red Wagon, which is in stores now everywhere, please go get it. I have to plug myself, sorry. The reason why I called it Little Red Wagon is also because of my father, Robert Lloyd Parker. He is not my birth father, but he raised me in becoming a man. My original dad passed when I was about 8 or 9. And this gentleman, he taught me everything about life and manhood and responsibility that another man could teach another man or another young man. And so he had this saying, I've always loved being around people that were older because you understand there's a certain wisdom that they carry, and that wisdom can help you. It's almost like having, like we do on TikTok or Instagram, where they say, the hack or the cheat code. And so I learned through him so many nuggets that I still hold with me. And he used to say, when you see someone doing something that makes sense or does not make sense, much like our traffic here in Houston, he would say, son, that's their little red wagon. They can push or pull it. And I laugh at it. I'm like, man, crazy. That's the thing old people say. And he'd say, well, we'll see something else. He'd be like, son, that's their little red wagon. They can push or pull it. And so it wasn't until I got older as a man, and then even after his passing, that I realized we all have little red wagons, and we all end up pushing or pulling them, or sometimes they push or pull us. It's the gravity of accountability, decision making. It's the gravity of, you know, adulthood. It is. And so this album, all 12 tracks, are 12 moments of my life that have had that gravity to me. And it's as I won't say silly, but it's as interesting as this one place that we used to perform my trio before it was a quartet. We used to get we had a whole situation. If you're in the music scene, we played and performed, and they gave us an amount of payment, which was very low. And the best thing is we would get this black bacon, black Angus burger with bacon on it. And, of course, the beverages were free, you know. But I mean, we're all adults, or at least some of us are adults. So, yeah, that was all the package. And so that burger inspired a song, you know, anywhere from stories of that to the mantra that my father passed me about Little Red Wagon, and how I have learned that lesson. And then also how I've passed that on to the next generation of my son. How what he said to me, I've carried, and it's carried me. And then now I can teach the same thing to my son, even though he's 9 years old, and still be able to pass the continuity of wisdom on to the next generation. So it's stories. It's something more than music. I searched when it came time to give an offering of music from myself, what exactly will be best. And I just wanted to tell stories. There's many different phenomenal musicians out there that it's so much music out there. I mean, you look on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, so many guys they have tremendous abilities. But one thing that I realized in pandemic, that we stopped really talking about um, things below the surface. And so my music really carries the weight in the undertone of real conversations that either you have with other people, they have with you, or, just thoughts that you have. So it's Little Red Wagon. It's available everywhere. And I really challenge you guys to go listen and to, just every track, take it in, see how does it feel to you? What do you get from it? So that's how I came up with the album. That's me, Melvin Johnson from Houston, Texas, a pianist, arranger, composer, husband, father, comedian, if you let me be. I do have jokes. And if nobody comes into the room, I'm going to start keep my list of jokes. I'm just playing. I'm not going to give jokes. Yeah. So also, why this album now? And this also ties into my original statement. I felt like this was the perfect time because as you grow older, you start to want to make wise decisions. Like I said before, of how my sister didn't really have anything to give, anything to show, even after her passing. Like it began to wait on me every day. What are you doing? How are you leaving your mark? How? And then especially during 2019, 2019, 2020. I used to tell my wife that it was amazing that, every day you would hear, okay, this person's not here, this person's not here. And that really gave me a fire and a passion to want to have an offering, that people can really appreciate. And it's something I was speaking with my amazing publicist, Jay St. Laurent Smith, which I hope she's watching. And we were just talking about, how someone can make focused moves that set you up for success, and also in the same vein that how you're putting things out there intentionally, And she gave me a whole saying. I can't remember it all, but a part of it is that this is real music for real people. And so that's another thing I encourage you guys to do. I There's so many ways that I could have went in my music. I studied music in many different places. The college that I graduated from was Texas Southern University, which I actually just came from right now, being a panelist at an event that they had. But um, I studied classical, studied jazz. Of course, you have to learn R&B and pop if you're on the scene. So it's been great to learn those genres. And then church. My father, my original father, was a pastor, and I grew up in church. So all those things that are mixed into the music, you can hear and feel that. It's been performances that I've been at, and I play certain notes or certain things and certain movements or certain songs, and I have people sitting crying, and they feel, the emotion and the honesty. And that's the thing, I feel like it's so appreciated to have music that's honest, to have interactions that's honest. So many times I see a lot of musicians sit at instruments and you can play the paint off the wall, but if you don't receive it, what does it really mean? So that was also a goal of this album, to literally have songs to where if you know anything about music, it's there. It's real. You can feel it. If you know a little bit about music, if you know a theoretical background, if you know what an enharmonic equivalent is, you still can appreciate the music. One goal of mine, and if my wife's watching, she'll laugh, she'll hear me play all the jazz in the world and the classical things that I do. And I'm like, it's good. It's good. And she'll be like, but I can't dance to it. So, there's even songs, like Black Bacon Funk or Perspective or So Simple, which are, tracks 1, 2, or 11 on my album, that they really give you something to dance, you know, for, something to dance about, good music, good wholesome music. So and then I also, I don't know if I gave this disclaimer earlier. My goal was to do music in as many ways as possible. So I'm also an educator. And so even in my class, I'll have the music on and the kids, they'll start to dancing and like some TikTok looking things and stuff. I don't know, that's not my age range, but they love it too. So, I mean, I love to see how music can connect with so many different people, and kids are honest. Yeah. Kids are brutally honest. So, my goal is really to make them enjoy the music, because they're going to tell you, Mr. Johnson, I don't like that. I'm like, so, but luckily I haven't had that. So, yeah, that's definitely been the goal. And that's why this album now, like, I feel like this is a great time to make music that can spark a conversation, or even music that is just feeling, you don't have to talk. So, yeah. Um, and that ties into also the meaning of the album. And also know that you guys can check out the social media. There are music videos that are tied to 5 of the songs. Be sure to follow me. Just the same, I try to keep continuity. It's Melvin Johnson Music that you can find. That's on Instagram. That's on TikTok, Twitter, everything. Even MySpace, if you can find it. I don't know who has MySpace, but it's your space and my space. You can find it. It's Melvin Johnson Music. And then, but certainly on all social platforms, be sure to find me, Melvin Johnson Music. Website again, www.melvinjohnsonmusic.com. Yeah. And so I try to be as accessible as possible. If you guys like the music, email me. It's there. That's also info@melvinjohnsonmusic.com. So yeah, I would love to have conversation with you guys about the music. What do you think? How do you feel? There's a number, let's see, it's called Black Curtain. I was performing at an event and I was playing a song, and this happens to be one of the places we perform at the airport. And so I was playing a song, and I was like, I don't know how they're going to feel about this song because it goes a different direction. But, you know, I've studied many different things. So I was playing a song, and this lady, which she wasn't African American, she was standing not far from me, and I looked at her face and I saw tears fall down her face. And I didn't know what was about to happen. I was like, I need you to not cry while I'm performing because I need you to be happy. What's going wrong? Did I hit a wrong note? Did I upset somebody? And it was so beautiful because she said, "Where did you learn that song?" I'm like, "What do you mean, where did I learn the song?" She was like, "How did you get it?" And I was like, "Okay, well, ma'am, hold on, relax. This is the song that I came up with. I was on a cruise with my wife, and we were standing at the back of a ship, a cruise ship. And we looked back off of the back of the ship, and it was nighttime, and all you could see was the black sky. But you couldn't tell where the black sky ended and the water started, or where the water ended in the black sky, because it was all black in the distance. And so I was just looking, and I was like, man, it's amazing. And, many of you guys probably can identify, if any creative, how things can motivate you in the moment. But once again, every song is a story on this album. And so I was looking back and I was inspired because sometimes we're on ships in life, metaphorically, and you're not in control. There's no way possible could I told the cruise ship to stop, start, left, right, slow down, speed up, none of that. And so I'm looking back and I see this big void in front of me. I know it's there. I can't touch it. I can't tell how far it is, how close it is. And that's just like life. Many times we're standing in a spot and wondering what's right in front of us because you can't necessarily see it. All you can do is really have faith. All you can do is really hope that, hey, I'm going the right direction. I'm making the right move, that I am, I'm in the right movement. I'm right in the right thought. And so that's where the song Black Curtain came from. The fact that there is this moment in time, there's this situation that happens to where sometimes you're just forced to have faith. I can't control it. I can't stop it. I can't move it. All I can do is sit here and do the best with what I have and wait for whatever it is to happen. And honestly, that's the space I'm in right now as an independent artist. I put this music out there because I just really wanted to touch lives. I really did. The views, that's great. The comments, that's great. But I want people to hear this after my time has ended and they can say, man, you know what? This was a contribution. This was something real. So I want to say also thank you and a shout out to every single fan that has supported, every single fan that has followed, subscribed, liked, all of that, because this music has been able to touch many hearts. It really has. And so it's been a blessing to be able to connect with so many people. I have people now walking up to me that I don't even know, and it just warms my heart in a major way to see, hey, people are really enjoying and taking in what's happening. So, it gives me joy in a major way. And speaking of joy, I had a unique conversation with Jay, my publicist. I talk to her all the time. And so we're always going back and forth, and she's giving me great ideas. And so we came up with the thought to celebrate someone, speaking of joy, that is spreading so much joy right now in the jazz community, and especially culture-wise in the African American community when it comes to joy. And so I actually sat down for a second, carved out time away from gigs and stuff, and I wrote a special song just to celebrate the magic of Samara Joy. And so it's been great to do that. I hope she hears it. I hope she likes it. I hope it means something special to her. But the song is Wonderful Joy. And it just really speaks about how her being her has given me, and if I may be a representative for others in the jazz community, so much joy to continue doing them, because you see this young African-American girl, and I loved her first picture that she had on her album. She had these Afro puffs and everything. And I was like, Black girl magic, like, hey, like represent to the fullest, represent, be you, be unique. We need more of that in the world. Too many people are trying to be other folks, but to stand out and be yourself is an amazing thing. And to be an individual, to be, your own person is something amazing. So I did write her a song. I hope she hears it. It's called Wonderful Joy. If she sings it, I'll cry and roll around the floor and all the rest of that stuff. So yeah, I think that would be amazing. But I want to give a special shout out to Samara Joy for just rocking the world and being so amazing right now, and just blazing a path, even at such a young age. Like she's just getting started. I've watched quite a bit of her interviews, and this is something that she's only been doing for a couple of years, and to go from where she was to the top just gives us joy. So quick shout out to her. So Samara, awesome job, awesome job. Um, so let's see. Let's get back to any questions. If we have anybody in here, I can address some of those, or if not, I have some more. What makes my music so special? Because my name is Melvin Johnson. No, I'm just playing. No, what makes my music so special is this is something weird. I'm getting a little older. These are glasses. I've had them on for the second day. So I had to have adjust to this whole life. But, it's cool. But in getting older and becoming more mature, I had to really figure out what direction I wanted to go and what moves I wanted to make. And so it also caused me to reevaluate or to evaluate, let's say it that way, who I am. Just speaking on like what I was saying about Samara Joy, it caused me to consider, what is it that I have to offer? What is it that, is connected to what I'm doing that makes it special? And so I realized, I've been a trumpet player, I've been a percussionist or a drummer, of course, keyboard, organ, synth, all the rest of that great stuff. But then I realized at the end of the day, that's not my gift. My gift is conversation, and my avenue and my resource and my tool is music. So when I say things like this album is real music for real people, 100%, it is real music for real people. And these are conversations. Each song is literally a conversation. Just also, speaking of my sister who passed, my beloved sister, I love her so much. There's a song that she's singing on, and it's hard for me to pick and say what's my favorite song on the album because they all mean so much. But her song is called Over and Over. And what makes that special is at her passing, I was in a space because I didn't have anything to carry from her, and especially of her voice. At the funeral, everybody, oh, she sang so well. And I was like, yeah, but people never tell you that when people pass, like sometimes those things fade. And so it was a blessing. And I thank God for it that at the funeral, someone walked up to me and said, hey, here's a CD of your sister's songs that she was working on right before she passed. And so I held on to that CD for years. I didn't know what to do. And I was kind of afraid to listen because, I don't want to just cut it on and then I can't even listen because I'm crying so hard, but I just held on to it. And you never know sometimes what things will do when you just continue doing what you should do. And so I had the thought one morning, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this CD of her songs and I'm going to listen to each one. And let me see what she's saying. And so I was like, okay, with me putting out this album, I have to find a way to bring her with me. And so, luckily through the magic of uh, DAWs and Logic and all the software you can use, I took many different phrases from her songs. I pieced it together and I made this song that was special because it's something that she and I was doing on this album. It's a song just me and her. And that's special too, because she always used to tell me how she just wanted to, all the people that she could perform with and do special things with, her favorite musician in the world was me. And you hear your siblings say that, and it's like, okay, what does that really mean, or whatever. But hey, so with me being her favorite, I said I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put her in my wagon, and I'm gonna pull her through this process with me to be something special that I know she can't hear it. My prayer is that in heaven, God lets this go through maybe an air conditioned vent and she, hears a little bit of it and, because she can smile down on me, which I know she's doing. But the fact that, I could still hear myself. I could listen to that song that she's singing on and feel her, see her. It's weird. It's almost like the movie Coco, that they have with as you um, as you celebrate ones that are not here, you help that memory stay alive and you help them stay alive. So, I mean, that's not the same as Coco, but it does something for me to be able to go back to that song over and over and hear her say the words that she say. It's a very special moment. So it's been awesome to have that. So I clicked the button. And on me clicking a button on the screen, I went from private chat, which nobody was in, to the comments. And there's a lot of comments. So what I'm going to do is look at these comments real quick. Don't tell anybody. All right. Yes, Dr. Gail Boyd, thanks for having me here. Thanks for having me here. Let's see. What do you feel? What do you feel Samara Joy's success means for jazz? She opened the gate. Now, what I mean by that, she was in a category. Normally, jazz is in its own box, unfortunately, with it being our art form that we created. But when I say she opened the gate, I mean it is awesome that in the category with R&B and rap, normally where jazz would not get a spotlight, she won, and she won big. And so the fact that that put straight ahead jazz, of all genres out there. So I'm right behind you. Look, yes, right behind you, Samara. And don't sing my song. Please don't sing my song because I'm gonna be even closer. Look, that'd be great. But no, joy, pure joy. Like the saying that if you can be one if you see one, or you have to see one to be one. Hey, she could do it. What about the next person? That's straight inspiration. So it's amazing. Okay. I hope she hears it. Me too. Yeah. Okay. What do you feel is most difficult thing about being an indie artist? Let me tell you. The most difficult thing about being an indie artist, money. Somebody clap back there. I didn't hear him. Okay. Y'all clapping? Clap. Yes. Money. But I mean, you know what? I do honestly feel that being an independent artist becomes a superpower down the road. And honestly, because there are things that you get in the process that make you better in the place that you can get. It's funny. I was with my wife and I can't remember where we were. I think we were at a comedy show and we were seeing somebody. Oh, it was somewhere that we were and we saw somebody famous. And when we saw that person famous, it was like it wasn't what I thought it was. And I think when you have the opportunity to be with the people, grassroots, independent, and you have to fight for where you're trying to go, you have to actually take the steps and you're not rushed. There's a bit of, I don't know if it's a word, maturation, or there's a bit of maturing that happens in that process that you can't get from anything else. So, I mean, let's say things take off the way I would love for it to do when all 500 million of you guys go and like, subscribe, Little Red Wagon, my album. When you go and click love on everything, Spotify, on iTunes, Apple Music, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you give me a dance to one of my songs. There will be a drum challenge on my Instagram, melvinjohnsonmusic.com. Very good. There's a song called Black Bacon Funk that I will have Houston's top drummers all participating in. That's coming very soon. But when you take the steps, the real steps to being a real person and developing these real connections with people, I feel like there's something in that process that makes you a stronger artist to sustain and go the distance. So with that being said, I think that's one of my last comments here. It has been a pleasure to be here. I want to give a shout out once again to Jay, my publicist, helping me to be here. I also want to give a shout out to my family for putting up with me and letting me stay up all night and practice and be great. And my biggest support system, my wife, Tamara Johnson. I hope you're here, or you will see this at some point in time. I love you. And my son, Gavin Johnson, who walks around the house singing my songs, and all of my family, all of my fans, all of my supporters. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. You are amazing. Thank you for today. Please go get the album. And I still have time, so I'm going to keep talking. No, I'm just playing. Thank you guys for being here.